Raining cats and dogs, the Friday night sports show, hailing in places too. And, of course, it is the Geelong Cats taking on the Western Bulldogs. Jace Riggin. It will be at the stadium where they've got no roof. So if it is raining and it's freezing cold tonight, then they'll only have themselves to blame for going to Arctic Skilled Stadium or GMBA or whatever.
ABCD Stadium.
Yes.
It is GMHBA Stadium. The Cats hosting the Western Bulldogs, second versus third on the ladder. And we must say to the Victorian government, thank you so much for allowing 7,000 fans to turn up and watch this game. I'm not sure where 7,000 was pulled from in the health advice. Why they couldn't have 7,001 fans, I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, 6,999 is good.
Yep.
7,001 bad for the virus.
I reckon that 7,000 fans, just between you and me, will be Cats fans. There might be one Western Bulldogs fans. That 6,999 figure is for all of the Geelong fans, and the other one is for the one Western Bulldog, because only the councils in the Geelong, Greater Geelong area are allowed to come, including Colac, by the way.
Yep.
So interestingly enough, but getting to the game, Geelong wins.
I don't know about that.
Oh.
I don't know about that. I think they probably do. I've tipped them, so I'm tipping them to win. But we should not be writing off the Western Bulldogs. I mean, this is a very, very good football side. Their midfield is as good as anyone's, and they're quick. And we know that if anything challenges Geelong, it's leg speed. So maybe they'll be a good matchup for the Cats. I don't know. But
Wet ground?
Yes, wet weather footy. But the big tall forwards of the Cats, will it suit them? Will it suit the more nimble forward line of the Western Bulldogs? So there's a few factors at play here. I think it's not quite as clear-cut as we make it.
You've done your research tonight on this, haven't you?
A little bit.
I just jumped in the studio and it's been raining cats and dogs. Oh, that was my research. I really felt I put in a good effort. You've just come up with almost testing me on whether I changed my tip.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to change your tip. But no, I think we go with the Cats. Saturday's games. Let's have a look at these. Now, bearing in mind, there's only 5 games. 8 clubs have the bye. And I tell you what, St Kilda will still struggle to beat the bye. They'll lead at half-time, but they'll struggle to get over the line. They might not have a team. They might have to forfeit. The Gold Coast Suns taking on Port Adelaide, who once famously lost the bye.
Yes.
If you remember the YouTube video that got around. The Gold Coast Suns might struggle to beat the bye at the moment, the way they're tracking. I don't know what's going on with this footy club. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them tonight with the debut of our brand new show, The Halftime Report.
Yes, that's on later on tonight.
It is. I've got Dan and Ellis from Dan Ellis.
Played some good games today for Richmond, I think.
Did. Yeah, no, Dan and Ellis from Flow News 24 are going to help us decipher what on earth is happening with the Suns at the moment. But Port Adelaide have just got too much to play for and should win. Be interesting to see if they've got a full quota from the team that they've selected after the situation at the swimming the other night. Yeah,
apparently the Port Adelaide boys were swimming along following the great swimmer Chalmers, but they didn't facially cover themselves. Photographed in the crowd. I guess the AFL's got to do what it's got to do because they did it to the Crows. Maybe no COVID issues in Adelaide, but I suppose look, it's a huge stadium, the Marion swimming pool. I'm going to say the jury out on my feeling on it, but look, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to keep the game going, and so if they didn't, then they should have some penalty.
Swimming Australia outlined that if you are sitting in the crowd, you're wearing a mask unless you're eating or drinking, much the same as the rules on the plane where the Crows got busted. If you have a look at the photo, everyone else around them has got their mask on. You could argue the point that 3 or 4 of them don't have them on correctly, whether or not they were drinking or eating at the time. But the Port Adelaide boys have not even got their mask on. They must go. Precedent's been set. They won't get suspended, but they should get a fine of $25,000 each, which is $100,000 out of the soft cap for Port Adelaide. That means 2 staff next year won't have jobs.
Oh, that's a big point. Well thought through. You've done your research tonight, haven't you? Right on. All right, research. Brisbane Lions are taking on North Melbourne at Blumstone. Now, if it's this is on the Saturday game, it's going to be cold at 4:05 in the afternoon down at Blundstone Arena.
It's cold at 12:05 in the afternoon down at Bloodstone Arena.
It's going to be freezing cold. Brisbane, they go down there. They're going to leave 30 degrees and get down to 3 degrees, I reckon it'll be down there. That southerly that's coming through. And if it's wet, this is going to be freezing weather. Now, I reckon that, remember Brett Allison, who used to play for North Melbourne, used to wear a long-sleeve jersey when it was hot weather, it didn't matter. He always had the long sleever. I reckon everybody, including the Brisbane Lions, will have long sleeves on.
I'd like to get the sports bet data on and the price to start market for 22 Brisbane Lions wearing long-sleeve jumpers down there at Blundstone Arena, but gamble responsibly, by the way.
Yep.
I think the Brisbane Lions, despite the chilly conditions, will do two things in this game. First of all, win. Second of all, one or two may come home with frostbite.
That's right. We used to play up at a little town in the Adelaide Hills called Bridgewater, and I can tell you, when we were from the creek down in the plains, that's right, they amalgamated with Callington later on because they wanted to play football in the winter months on ovals that didn't have mud all over them. That's why they actually went into a partnership with them. But they had ice and snow on the footy field. We never used to beat Bridgewater, even though we were much better than them, because they were good on their home ground in that freezing cold. I reckon North Melbourne will get quite close here.
They didn't have a boot stutter. They had an ice skater
skating rink
sharpener. Yeah.
Giants take on Carlton. Giants, I think, playing slightly better. And do you think that Carlton, they're in trouble? I reckon that as a club, they're a basket case. They can't do anything right. They just don't for mine. That they should have been a lot better up the table than where they are. I picked them a few times this year. They've disappointed me.
All right. I'm going to ask you this because one thing we know about AFL football is it's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems. Tell me what Carlton's worst loss is this year.
Oh, look, you've got me there because you've done your research.
Well, it's no more than 5 goal.
So you reckon that they have been honourable in defeat?
There's no such thing as an honourable loss.
Yeah.
What they haven't been at any stage is blown out of the park. So
right.
that tells me that they don't need much tweaking to fix this.
So is it the coach that's no good?
I don't know. It could be a combination of the coach, execution, young players, lack of depth. I think it's all of the above. So one thing I do know about Carlton is they're not as bad as the media pylon is telling you. They'll be competitive again against the Giants. I think the Giants will win because I think they've probably got a little bit too much top-end talent. But they're also missing a few, the Giants, this week. So don't be surprised. Carlton don't get blown out. This could be an upset.
Oh, he's gone for the upset. Have you got that in your chips?
Yes.
All right.
I've picked Carlton.
Oh, he has. Oh, I'll tell you, good one. And again, research well done. Hawks take on Essendon. It's going to be the Sunday match down at the University of Tasmania Stadium, which I think is Launceston.
It is.
It is. So that means Hawthorn's home deck. Essendon just got merit for how many, 12 years or something? Was it same sort of contract as the
7 years.
Buddy Franklin?
Something ridiculous. Yeah.
Massive. Is he that good?
No. Quite frankly.
Should he have...
He's Essendon's Matt Crouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
would be the way I'd sum it up.
in a couple of years' time, thinking about, should we have gone that way?
Well, I don't know why they've gone all in on him. I think it's maybe to stop others from diving in. But when you've got the likes of Darcy Parish, who are
good footballer,
and Andy McGrath coming along.
McGrath's a very good footballer. Those two have been high up in Essendon. Now, where they find it in their salary cap, they got to buy some good players. They lost Danaher. Now, maybe that's the salary cap that got released to be able to give that kind of a contract to Merritt. I'd say so.
I don't know. Here's the thing about this game of football, Essendon. We have a look at Essendon. They're 5-7 at the moment. Everyone's talking them up after their Dreamtime win over Richmond, and they're right to do so because they were good in that game. 5 wins, 7 losses. There are 9 games to go, and they played 2 of them against the top 2 teams in the competition. So if they don't win every game from here on in, they're not assured of a finals berth. If they lose those 2, they can't play finals.
Got to win.
They've got to win this game.
Yeah,
it's an absolute must-win game for them, Essendon. So, I'm going to tip the Bombers because they're just too good for Hawthorn. Even though Hawthorn don't lose on this ground very often,
and Hawthorn don't like the Bombers either historically.
They don't like each other.
Yeah, that's a really interesting set of circumstances. It's going to be a big weekend, a cold one, raining cats and dogs weekend on AFL.